The wind screamed across the ice. It howled like a monster from old stories, shaking the wreckage of the small ship. Snow blew hard against broken metal. Two small shapes moved through the storm, wrapped in thin survival cloth, barely able to walk. Their names were Sira and Naya. Sira was older, about 12 human years in age. She had short purple skin and bright green eyes that were once full of wonder. Now they were tired. Naya was younger, maybe 6. Her blue skin had turned pale from cold, and she held tightly to Sira's hand. The crash had happened 5 days ago. Their refugee ship had tried to flee a war zone. It carried many alien families from different planets. Some were running from war, others had no home left. But in space, no one cared. The ship was old, poorly built, and without protection. When a storm hit near this frozen planet, it crashed. Sira and Naya were the only survivors. They didn't know each other before the crash, but after waking up in the wreckage, Sira had found Naya crying and alone. Sira helped her out of the broken ship. Since then, they stayed together. They shared what little food was left, kept close at night, and tried not to freeze. Each night got colder. Each day got quieter. "I don't want to sleep, Sira," Naya whispered one evening, her small body shaking. "I know," Sira said, holding her close. "But we have to. Just a little. Then we keep moving." They had no comm signal, strong enough to reach other ships. The emergency beacon was damaged. Sira tried to fix it with broken parts, but she didn't know how. They sent up small flares each day, red smoke into the sky. But no one came. Ships passed high above sometimes, distant shadows in the clouds. But none stopped. No one looked, down at this cold, dead place. To the galaxy, this world didn't matter, and 2 small girls on it mattered even less. On the 6th day, Sira couldn't walk far. Her legs were weak, and Naya's feet had gone numb. They found an old metal crate from the crash and climbed inside for shelter. It was tight, but blocked the wind. Sira covered Naya with the last heat pad. Her own hands were turning blue. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I can't protect you anymore." Naya blinked slowly. "It's okay. I'm not scared with you." Sira held her and tears rolled down her cheeks. She looked up through a hole in the crate. The stars were out. She closed her eyes, but the stars moved. A soft humming sound filled the air. Then came a low rumble, almost like thunder. The ground trembled slightly. Sira opened her eyes again. There was a ship, not like the broken one they crashed in. This one was smooth, silver-black, and wide like a beast flying through the sky. It hovered above them for a moment, then slowly lowered to the ground. Sira sat up quickly and covered Naya's head. "Shh! Someone's here," she said. A door opened from the ship, and warm light poured out. A tall figure walked down a ramp. He was wearing a thick coat, a helmet with lights, and held something in his hand that beeped. When he stepped closer, the lights showed his face. He was human. Sira had heard of them. She never met one. Humans were said to be strange, strong, and dangerous. Some said they were kind. Others said they were scary. Sira didn't know what to believe. The man stopped a few meters away from the crate. He raised his hands slowly. "It's okay," he said gently. "I'm not here to hurt you." Sira didn't answer. She just watched. He took off his helmet. His face was pale, with short black hair and soft brown eyes. He knelt down. "My name is Eli," he said. I picked up. "A weak signal. Is anyone alive?" Sira finally stood up. She held Naya in her arms. "There's just us," she said quietly. "Everyone else, they're gone." Eli looked at the 2 girls. He could see they were freezing, starving, and terrified. He opened a pack. and pulled out 2 thermal blankets. He held them out. "Please," he said, "let me help you." Sierra hesitated, but Naya opened her eyes and whispered, "He's warm." Sierra nodded slowly. She stepped forward. Eli wrapped the blankets around them both, then opened a thermal pack and gave them warm food. Naya ate fast, like she hadn't seen food in days. "You were alone out here?" he asked softly. "Yes," Sierra said. "For how long?" 6 days, maybe more." Eli's eyes softened with sadness. "You're lucky to be alive." Sierra didn't feel lucky. She just felt tired. Eli stood up and looked back at his ship. Then he looked at the 2 girls, then back again. "You can't stay here. This planet is deadly," he said. Sierra looked down. "We don't have anywhere to go." Eli was silent for a moment, then he smiled gently. "Then come with me." Sierra blinked. "What?" "You heard me," Eli said, stepping closer. "Both of you, come home." They followed him slowly up the ramp. Inside his ship, warm air hit them. The lights were soft and yellow. The floor wasn't metal, it had soft padding. The ship didn't look like a warship or a cargo freighter. It looked cozy. Eli led them to a small room with a clean bed, soft blankets and stuffed toys. "I didn't have kids of my own," he said, "but I've kept this room just in case. Seems like it was waiting for someone." Sierra helped Naya onto the bed. She didn't want to let go. Eli placed a cup of hot soup nearby and stepped out of the room. "Rest," he said. "You're safe now." Sierra stared at the door long after he left. For the first time in many days, she felt warm. Not just her body, but her heart. She sat beside Naya, who was already half asleep. "Do you trust him?" Naya mumbled. Sierra smiled. "A little. I think I do." Naya closed her eyes. "He said we can come home." Sierra looked at the soft blankets, the quiet hum of the ship, and the warm light on the wall. "Maybe," she whispered. "This is home now." The starlight ember moved gently through space. Its engines hummed like a soft lullaby, steady and calm. Inside, the 2 alien girls were finally safe. But their minds didn't understand it yet. Sierra woke up first. She sat up in the soft bed, blinking at the warm yellow light on the ceiling. It wasn't the cold gray sky of the ice planet. She touched the blanket. It was real. The pillow under her head was soft. Her fingers still shook, but they didn't feel frozen anymore. Beside her, Naya slept soundly. Her little face looked peaceful, for the first time since they met. Sierra got out of bed and walked slowly toward the door. It opened with a soft hiss. She stepped into a hallway. The floor was padded, not cold metal. The walls had pictures, stars, planets, even some funny-looking animals. "Good morning," a calm voice said. Sierra jumped and turned. It was the human. Eli. He stood in the hallway holding 2 mugs. One was steaming. "I thought you might be awake," he said with a small smile. "Want something warm to drink?" Sierra looked unsure, but she stepped closer. He handed her the mug. "It's called hot cocoa. Made from something on Earth. Sweet and warm." She took a small sip. Her eyes lit up. It was the best thing she had ever tasted. Eli laughed. "Glad you like it." He walked with her to the kitchen area. It was clean and cozy. A small plant grew in the corner. Lights blinked on the control panel. Sierra looked around with wide eyes. "This ship is nice," she said. "Thank you. I built it myself." Sierra looked surprised. "You built it?" "Most of it, yeah. I was in the war once. After it ended, I wanted something peaceful. So, I made a home that could fly." He handed her a small plate of food, eggs, soft bread, fruit. "Eat as much as you want. There's more," he said. Later that morning, Naya woke up too. She ran out of the room when she didn't see Sira. But when she found her sister sitting at the table, eating and laughing with the human, she smiled. Naya sat beside Sira, and Eli gave her food and cocoa, too. You don't have to be afraid anymore, Eli told them. This ship is your home now, if you want it. Sira looked at him closely. Why are you helping us? Eli's eyes softened. Because someone helped me once. A long time ago, I was also lost. Cold. Alone. One person showed me kindness. That saved my life. He smiled. Now it's my turn. Over the next few days, the girls learned more about the ship and the man who saved them. Eli showed them how. The Starlight Ember worked. He let Sira press buttons under his watch. She loved the way the engines hummed when activated. This ship listens to you, she said once. Eli nodded. It's smart, but only as kind as the person flying it. Sira smiled. Then it must be very kind. Naya liked the garden room. It was small but green and full of life. There were soft lights and a water fountain. She sat there for hours, drawing pictures with crayons Eli gave her. Sometimes she drew the crash. Sometimes she drew Sira. And once she drew all three of them holding hands under a big yellow star. Eli kept that picture on the wall. One evening after dinner, the girls sat near the big window in the lounge area. Outside, stars floated in the black sky like diamonds on velvet. Do you miss your home? Eli asked. Sira was quiet. Yes, she said finally, but it's gone. There's nothing left. No city, no forest, no sky. Naya added. Our parents, they didn't make it. Eli looked down. I'm sorry. Sira looked up at him. Do you have a family? He thought for a moment. Not anymore. I lost them during the war. That's why I travel alone. Not anymore, Naya said suddenly. Eli looked at her. You're not alone anymore, she said again. He smiled gently. No, I guess I'm not. Sira and Naya looked at each other and nodded. That night, they didn't sleep in separate rooms. They asked if they could stay in Eli's room, just until we feel safe, Sira said. Of course, Eli said. He laid extra blankets down and the girls curled up nearby. They fell asleep with smiles on their faces. Eli watched them. For a moment, then whispered, Welcome home. Over the next week, the ship visited a space station for supplies. It was a quiet station near a small star. Aliens of many species lived and worked there. Sira and Naya stayed close to Eli. They held his hands tightly, nervous of the crowd. But Eli introduced them proudly. These are my girls, he told the shopkeeper. The old alien blinked. You adopted them? Eli nodded. Not officially, not yet, but they're mine. Sira heard that. Her heart skipped. His girls. No one had ever called her that before. Back on the ship, Sira helped Eli fix a small energy panel. You're smart, he said. You like machines? She nodded. I want to learn. I want to help. You can. You already do. In another room, Naya was singing to herself while drawing on the wall. Eli had told her she could. She drew stars, ships, and hearts. Look, Papa Eli, she called out. Eli turned his head in surprise. What did you call me? Naya looked shy. Papa Eli? Sira blushed. Sorry. We can stop if... No, Eli said quickly. No, it's okay. He smiled, even though his eyes were a little wet. I like it. From that day, they started calling him Papa Eli. That night, Sira looked out the window again. The stars were still shining, but now they didn't feel so far away. They felt warm, like hope. We were lost, she whispered. Naya, sitting beside her, nodded. But he found us. Sira placed a hand on the window. We're not cold anymore. No, Naya said softly. We're home. And in the control room, Eli looked at the photo of all three of them. He smiled and whispered, I may have saved them, but they're saving me too. The Starlight Ember drifted peacefully in open space. Its engines were silent now, in standby mode, as it floated near a quiet nebula. The soft blue and purple clouds outside the ship made it look like a dream. Inside, life was calm and full of small, new beginnings. Sira and Naya were no longer just survivors. Slowly, they were becoming something more. They were becoming family. Every morning, Sira woke up early to help Papa Eli in the control room. She sat beside him in the co-pilot chair, learning what every button and screen did. This one scans nearby ships, Eli explained. Sira nodded. And this? That adjusts shield power. Not that we need it much. Sira touched the buttons gently, like she was afraid to break them. Eli smiled. You're careful. That's good. I want to learn everything, Sira said. If I know how to fly, I can help. You're already helping, Eli replied. You just don't see it yet. Sira looked down, but she was smiling inside. Naya had her own way of growing. She liked the garden room most. Every day she watered the plants, touched the soft leaves, and even gave names to the flowers. This one is Shiny Leaf, she told Eli once. And that one is Dancing Pink. You're good with living things, Eli said. I think they're lonely. I talked to them, Naya said. He nodded. They're lucky to have you, she grinned. Like us? Eli paused, then nodded. Exactly. One day, Sira found a toolbox under the engine bay. She took it to the workbench and opened it. Inside were screwdrivers, wires, and blinking devices. She pulled out a damaged cleaning drone and began to fix it. Eli found her an hour later lying on the floor covered in grease. What are you doing? Trying to fix this, she said. It's broken. You're doing well, he said, kneeling beside her. Want a tip? Together they repaired the small drone. When it floated up and beeped softly, Sira's eyes lit up. I did it, she whispered. No, Eli corrected. Her. We did it. She nodded. But deep inside, something warm grew in her chest. For the first time, she felt useful. At night, the three of them sat near the big window. They watched stars pass by, drank hot cocoa, and told stories. Naya often asked Eli about Earth. Is it green? She asked. Very green, he said. Forests, oceans, mountains. Some places are cold, some hot, but it's full of life. Can we go there someday? Eli looked thoughtful. Maybe, if you want. Sira asked, do humans like aliens? Eli was quiet for a moment. Some do, he said. Some don't. But the good ones? They see people, not species. Sira thought about that. Are you one of the good ones? Eli looked at her and smiled. I try to be. Days passed, then weeks. The girls grew stronger. Their cheeks became fuller. Their eyes were brighter. They laughed more, slept better, and most of all, they trusted. One afternoon, Sira built a small wooden box and painted it with stars. Inside, she put a photo of her real parents, taken before the war. She showed it to Eli. I miss them, she said, but I don't cry as much now. Eli knelt beside her. It's okay to miss them. They'd be proud of you. She looked at him. Do you think they'd like you? He smiled gently. I hope so. Then, softly, she whispered, I'm glad we found you. Eli didn't speak for a moment. He simply placed a hand on her shoulder. One day, Eli gave each girl a small necklace. On it was a tiny metal charm shaped like a star. This is a starlight token, he said. I made it long ago, before I even had this ship. Sira asked, What does it mean? It means you belong, he said. You have a place, with me. Naya clutched hers tightly. Forever? Forever, Eli promised. But not everything was perfect. One night, while the ship floated near a quiet moon, Sira had a nightmare. She woke up gasping, covered in sweat. Her body shook, her mind flashing images of fire, screams, and falling metal. She got out of bed and ran into the hallway. Eli found her sitting near the engine room, hugging her knees. He sat beside her. "Want to talk about it?" She shook her head. "No, It felt real again. Eli didn't push her. He just sat there, quiet and calm. After a while, she whispered, "What if we're not safe? What if someone comes and takes us?" Eli looked at her and said, "Then they'll have to get through me first." Sira smiled through her tears. "You promise?" "I do," he said. She leaned against him, and together they sat in silence until she was calm again. Later that week, the ship picked up a strange signal. It was faint, like a whisper in deep space. Eli studied the signal. "It's not a distress call," he said. "More like a scan. Someone's looking." Sira looked nervous. "For us? Maybe, but we're far from major routes. Probably just a patrol." Still, Eli changed their course. He didn't take risks, not with his girls on board. The girls noticed the extra scans, the tighter security, the quiet look in Eli's eyes. They didn't ask, but they understood. He was protecting them. A few days later, they reached a peaceful colony station. Eli took them outside the ship, holding their hands. Many species walked around the station. Humans, lizards, bird-like aliens, robots. Sira and Naya stayed close to him. But something had changed. They weren't hiding. They were standing proudly beside the man who gave them a new life. Eli bought them simple clothes, jackets, boots, and scarves. Sira chose a blue one. Naya chose bright yellow. As they walked back to the ship, a merchant asked Eli, "Your daughters?" He smiled proudly. "Yes, they're my daughters." The girls heard that, and their hearts soared. That night, they all sat together in the lounge. Eli held a warm drink. Sira read a manual about engine cooling systems. Naya drew pictures of Earth forests. "Can I ask something?" Naya said. "Anything," Eli said. "Why did you save us?" "Really?" Eli took a breath. "Because you were alone," he said. "And I knew what that felt like. And because I saw something in your eyes. Something worth saving." Sira put her book down. "Do you think we're strong now?" "You've always been strong," he said. "You just needed someone to remind you." Naya climbed into his lap and hugged him tight. Sira leaned against his side, and for the first time in their lives, the two alien girls didn't feel like outsiders. They felt like family. The Starlight Ember glided smoothly through space, its engines humming softly as stars passed by outside the windows. Inside, the small family felt safe. For now, Sira and Naya had grown strong in their new life with Papa Eli. They laughed, learned, and dreamed of a future together. But the galaxy was a dangerous place. Their past was not far behind. One evening, Eli sat in the control room studying the ship's sensors. A red light blinked on the console. "Strange," he muttered. "Something is approaching." Sira and Naya looked over his shoulder. "Is it a ship?" Sira asked. Eli nodded. "Yes, and it's not friendly." The ship on the screen was dark and jagged, covered in scars. It belonged to the pirate faction, the same group that had destroyed their home planet years ago. Naya's face went pale. "Are they coming for us?" she whispered. Eli placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "We won't let that happen." The pirate ship closed in fast. Eli ordered the Starlight Ember to prepare for battle. The ship's walls hummed as energy shields activated and weapons powered up. Sira helped in the engine room, checking power levels and running repairs. Naya stood beside Eli, learning navigation. "Stay calm," Eli told them. "We fight together." As the pirate ship fired first, bright blasts lit the darkness outside. The Starlight Ember dodged, weaving through the stars with speed and skill. Sira felt her heart race but kept working. She fixed a damaged power conduit, sending extra energy to the shields. "We can do this," she thought. The battle was fierce. The pirates fired again and again. Their ship was bigger and stronger, but Eli knew their tricks. Using his ship's advanced systems, he launched countermeasures that confused enemy sensors. Naya found a weak spot in the pirates' shields on the control screen. "Here," she said. "Aim the lasers there." Eli nodded and fired. The pirate ship shuddered as the hit landed. "Good job, Naya," Eli praised. Sira smiled, feeling proud of her sister. The pirates didn't give up. Their captain called for a boarding party. Small fighter pods rushed toward the Starlight Ember. Lights flashed, and alarms sounded as the pods struck the hull. The ship shook violently. Sira grabbed a tool and ran to the breach section to help with repairs. "Stay safe," Eli shouted through the intercom. Naya stayed near Eli, helping control the ship's weapons. She showed courage, steady hands, and quick thinking. Suddenly, one pod broke through a window near the engine room. Sira turned to face the invader, a masked pirate, tall and fierce. She remembered how weak she felt on the frozen planet. But not now. With a burst of strength, she grabbed a nearby metal pipe and swung it hard. The pirate stumbled, surprised. Eli appeared behind Sira, firing a stun gun that hit the pirate. The invader collapsed. The battle continued for hours, but Eli's skill and the girl's bravery made the difference. The pirate ship, damaged and outsmarted, began to retreat. As it fled, Eli turned to the girls. "You were amazing," he said, pride shining in his eyes. "I couldn't have done this without you." Sira and Naya smiled, tired but happy. "We're your family," Naya said quietly. "Always," Eli agreed. After the battle, the ship needed repairs. The three of them worked side by side, fixing broken panels, recalibrating systems, and cleaning up. As they worked, Eli explained, "The pirates want to stop us because we help others. Refugees, lost travelers. They don't want hope to spread." Sira thought about their journey. How many others were out there, alone and afraid? She looked at Eli and Naya. "We have to keep going," she said firmly. Eli smiled. "That's why I built the Starlight Ember, to be a home and a safe place. We will protect it together." That night, the three sat around the small dining table. Naya held Eli's hand tightly. "I'm not scared anymore," she said. Sira nodded. "Because we have each other." Eli looked at them with warmth. "And because we fight for what is right." He pulled out a small box. Inside were two metal pins shaped like stars, similar to the necklaces he had given them before. "These are family stars," he said. "They show who belongs to the crew, to the family." He pinned one on each girl's jacket. "Now," Eli said, "no one can take you away." Sira looked at her new pin, then at Eli. "Thank you for saving us. For never giving up." Eli hugged them both. "You saved me too," he whispered. Together they faced the stars, ready for whatever the galaxy would bring next. The Starlight Ember sailed through a gentle nebula, its engines whispering softly as the ship moved forward. Inside, the small family was preparing for a new chapter in their lives. Sira and Naya had changed so much since that cold day on the frozen planet. They were no longer the scared, hungry children who had nothing. Now, they had a home, a family, and a purpose. The ship approached a large human colony known as New Dawn. It was a bustling place with many buildings, gardens, and friendly faces. This was a safe place, a place where many lost travelers found peace Eli stood beside the girls on the ship's observation deck. "This is where we rest for a while," he said softly. "You can learn, make friends, and maybe find a place to belong." Sira and Naya looked down at the colony. Bright lights twinkled like stars on the ground. "Will they accept us?" Sira asked. Eli smiled. "They will. Humans and many other species here believe in helping others." Naya held Eli's hand tightly. "I want to make new friends." When they landed, the colony welcomed them warmly. Eli introduced Sira and Naya as his daughters. The colony leaders gave them clothes, books, and a small home to stay in. The girls explored with wonder. There were parks with tall trees, markets filled with colorful foods, and children of many different shapes and sizes playing together. Sira watched as other kids laughed and played. For the first time, she felt a hope growing inside her heart. Naya skipped ahead, waving at everyone with a bright smile. "It feels like a real home," she said. Days passed, and the girls started school. They learned about the stars, languages from different planets, and even the history of the galaxy. They worked hard, eager to catch up on lost time. Eli watched proudly as they grew confident and strong. One evening, as they sat around a table, sharing a meal, Sira looked at Eli. "Do you think we'll ever go back to our old planet?" she asked. Eli shook his head gently. "Some places are lost forever, but that doesn't mean we can't build new homes." Naya nodded. "This is our home now." "Yes," Eli said, "and wherever we go together, that is home." Even though the colony was safe, Sira and Naya never forgot the pain of losing their family and their world. They used their new strength to help others. One day, they asked Eli if they could turn the Starlight Ember into a rescue ship. They wanted to find other lost refugees and bring them home, just like Eli had done for them. Eli's eyes shone with pride. "That's a wonderful idea." Together, they repaired the ship, added new equipment, and planned rescue missions. Their first mission was to a small moon, where a group of aliens were stranded after their ship broke down. Sira and Naya led the way, speaking gently to the frightened refugees and calming their fears. With teamwork, they fixed the broken ships and gave the refugees food, clothes, and hope. On the way back, the girls looked at each other and smiled. "We did it," Naya said. "We saved them," Sira added. Eli nodded. "This is just the beginning." Back at the colony, the three were celebrated as heroes. They were known as the family of the stars, humans and aliens working together to make the galaxy kinder. Sira, Naya, and Eli often sat on the observation deck, watching the stars. "Thank you," Sira said one night. "For everything." Eli smiled. "No, thank you, for teaching me what family really means." Naya leaned against him, tired but happy. Together, they looked at the endless sky, ready for the future. And so 2 alien girls who had no home, no clothes, and no hope found a family among the stars, because a human said, "Both of you, come home."